All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of the Airlock Podcast. Still kind of getting over a cold here, so apologies if I sound stuffy. And the coughing every now and then. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Vice Admiral Phoenix Berkana, Commodore of the Hammer this time. Seems like the first 3 episodes we're going to just get all the Commodores at this point. So, I hope everybody enjoys the show. And once again, for our live audience over on Twitch, though we are watching the chat, remember that we will be too focused on the podcast in and of itself. So please don't be mad if we do not immediately respond to you. It is just the unfortunate thing that we have to run the podcast first before actually going to live comments. But either way, just enjoy the show. I hope everybody is doing well. This cough is gonna be the annoyance of me. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bring in Vice Admiral Phoenix Berkana. All right, and we are live. Vice Admiral, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Well, other than this cough, pretty much good. Now,
fantastic to hear.
Yeah. So, I guess right off the bat, I gotta ask, Commodore of the Hammer, how is that going for you?
It's going pretty well, actually. I mean, it's been going well enough that the 1-year anniversary of me taking over actually went by and no one even noticed. I totally forgot about it. It was right after RTS.
Oh,
so
no, really?
we were all just like completely blitzed by that. So it just sailed by, and afterwards I was like, oh, crikey, it's been over a year.
I will agree that a lot of us were, I guess the word is zombified after RTF.
I would definitely sign up to that.
Yeah.
No, it was great fun. I've absolutely enjoyed my first year and a bit as Commodore of the Hammer. It's been absolutely great fun. I couldn't have wished for a better bunch of pilots and commanders to work with. It's been phenomenal. I'm hoping to stick around for quite a while longer, assuming Cliff doesn't airlock me. So,
I was gonna say, we are in the airlock itself already.
Yeah, I know. I'll just make sure he doesn't lean on a button.
Yes, I always wonder why we have our shows in here. Anyway.
Convenient in case we say anything that he doesn't like it.
Yes. So I have to ask, how did you start as a Commodore? Like,
well, actually,
how that actually happened?
So I mean, I came back to the EH in 2017, I think. I originally joined in like the 90s, and I did like a number of different tours and different squadrons. I was in Yod, I was in Chess, and then I kind of like disappeared for a decade because of university and jobs and all that malarkey. So I came back in like the 2017, it must have been 2017, and I joined Delta, and I stayed in that squadron effectively until a time, and Clark was my commander, and he and I did a job swap. So I basically was a commander for about 4 years.
Clark being the SOO right now currently, correct?
Yeah. So he was the Delta commander when I came back. So I basically joined the Delta on board the Hammer. So that was the only ship I really knew until we jumped across to the Challenge briefly, and then the position as Hammer Commodore opened up, and I was like, well, why not? I spoke to a few people and decided, I'll throw my hat into the ring, and I was chosen. I think, so I mean, I absolutely I had my fingers crossed, but you know,
You're
there's,
just hoping
there's always
for
a
it.
number. Yeah, I mean, there's always a number of really good people applying for positions. So, you know, it just comes down to a leap of faith whether Cliff and Clark and Miles, you know, decide who they want to go for.
Mhm.
And I got lucky; they chose me, and I'm still here. So I assume I'm doing a decent enough job.
I was gonna say you must be doing something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the money in the bank account every month to do a
Yes.
TCS.
How we also supply the tequila every now and then. Anyway.
Oh yes. But no, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I'd been promoted up to general. I'd been running Delta, then Thunder for quite a while. So it felt like,
yeah, you're my predecessor.
yeah. So it felt like the next logical step. Because you know, I'd been Delta commander for a couple of years, and Dempsey was in our squadron. I mean, like, we had a number of people, you know, come through Delta. So Clark stuck around for a while. Dempsey was there. Elwood, Woody was there for a while. And then Dempsey jumped across to the challenge to take over as the initial Commodore for, you know, when it was reactivated. And you know, to balance the wings, several squadrons needed to move from the Warrior and the Hammer across to the Challenge, you know, to give it all a level playing field.
Right.
And Delta, we decided, okay, Dempsey's been a member of our squadron for quite a while. Let's follow her across. So we did it. We took a bit of a vote, and we elected to not quite jump ship, but swap ships. So we moved across to the challenge, and we were given the option of, I think it was Thunder or another squadron to pick from and to customize the ships. And that's how we ended up as Thunder for a number of months. And then the Hammer position became available. So I went back.
It's like all right, we're gonna be in the Hammer for a bit. Oh, and we're moving to the challenge. Oh wait, we need to go back to the Hammer.
Well, yeah, I basically so like Shadowclaw took over after me, and I was like, okay, guys, I'm moving back to the Hammer, and yeah, that's where I've been since.
Okay. So I was gonna say, starting the new year, 2022, any expectations that you're hoping for aboard the Hammer?
Well, I mean, our membership is pretty decent. The squadrons we have are relatively full. We're losing a few people I know to, you know, AWOL or moving to the reserves, but we're also recruiting a few. So membership-wise, we're turning over pretty good. I would like for us to do well in Imperial Storm and RTF. I think we did really well in RTF last time around. You know, the Challenge and the Hammer both set scores which were, you know, by previous years' levels, insane.
Yeah, I was there. I remember all the spamming and the zombification afterwards.
Oh yes, I mean, I think, you know, I think Silver would agree that we were never too far behind. We were never far enough behind that the Challenge could take a break. But, you know, I'd like to. We had a bit of a slow start, so maybe this time around we can get off the ground a bit quicker, or there's several things we can look at. But hopefully, I mean, the main thing is I just want everybody to have fun, and I think a lot of people enjoyed themselves, which is the main thing, because that's what we're all here for. This is all voluntary. It's a labor of love. So we do it because we enjoy it. So, you know, I think the main thing I want from 2022 is that all my squadron commanders, all my flight leaders, flight members, they just enjoy themselves, get to express themselves in different competitions, and if we happen to take the crown, all the better. If not, as long as they've enjoyed it, I'm happy.
Well, in terms of competitions, I have to say, ever since I started the time trials competition I've been running for season 2, I have to ask, Hammer seems to really like killing me a lot.
I've noticed. Yeah. I've been keeping tabs on the announcement channel, and it's every so often it's like, oh, someone else has taken it. Someone else has done it.
Yeah.
We have some pilots who have a very strong competitive streak, shall I say?
I can tell.
So like the Hammer trivia usually gets very well competed in. People just people don't want to lose.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, how do you feel about Genie's new time? I don't know if you've seen the latest posting from last night.
I've not. I've actually been. My day here in the UK has been a day of looking at schools for my kids. So
Gotcha.
I've not actually had a chance
So
to
Genie,
look at the times.
so Genie has finally beaten Kebla Omega, who was the current head. With Kebla Omega posted at 1 minute 13 seconds, and Genie, though he did take a couple of attempts, so did Kebla. Genie just absolutely devastated that time with, and is the first pilot in all of the competition to finally get under a minute. He got 58
How far
seconds.
under a minute?
He got 58 seconds. Now,
I wonder how long that will last. Someone else will take a shot at that.
Kebla has already said he wants to go again.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, so it's like, of all the pilots so far, it's the Hammer that's the most thirsty for this competition.
Like I say, we have a bunch of very competitive pilots on the ship, which is always entertaining, and hopefully will continue. But I'm curious to see who's going to break that one then. 58. Wow.
Well, I was already in discussions with Pliff for next season that we can try to add the platinum wings to the competition, under the strict requirement that if they do get it, they have to be under a minute at first place. Because I feel like, the platinum wings is the most coveted one of them all, and you have to really earn that medal.
Yeah, we don't give it out very often.
Yeah.
It's under a minute and first place.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to beat Genie.
Yeah. I think he did get lucky that in terms of the maps, because the maps are always random in the game, and he got Yavin, which in terms of maps has no cover whatsoever. So he was able to he was supposed always to pinpoint me all the time. So, but that being said, he still got amazing times even before then on other maps, especially on Galatan, where there's just absolute asteroids all over the place. Now I got another question for competitions. For you said you're looking forward for Imperial Storm, RTF, squad remobilization. How are your thoughts and expectations coming for that?
Remob.
Yes.
So, well, I would be expecting most squadrons to do pretty well. I think some of them, there are certain squads like Lambda or Epsilon, I think, who are itching for that. I think Alpha under Alejandro have the ability to do really well. Delta, I foresee good things. So I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone is going to really enjoy having a crack at it. It's one of the good things about Remob is that it's all very sort of individual. So instead of actually competing against other squadrons per se, you've got a list of tasks, and all you have to do is get through those tasks. I think last year Lambda did it inside 3 or 4 days. They managed to get through most of them.
I don't remember most of Squadron Remob because I was still a flight member, I think, by then, or I just started to become a flight lead at the time, and I was still relatively new, so I was still trying to get used to how the comings and goings of EH were. So I don't really remember most of Remob.
Yeah, I mean unlike Imperial Storm or RTS, where you are competing against the other squadrons or the other pilots. For Remob, it's very much you've got a list of activities, and you just tick them off. I mean, the main competitive piece is A, how fast you do it, and B, how many tasks you complete. Like some squadrons may complete 3 or 4 tasks. Others may complete the whole list. And one of the benefits of Remob is that it's got such a wide variety of tasks. I mean, you can do single player missions, multiplayer missions, high scores, IU courses, art, you name it. I mean, it ticks a lot of boxes, which is one of the strengths, I think, of why people really, really enjoy it. And also, the prizes are like being able to further customize your squadron with different fighters, different goals. But that is something I think that really appeals to people. For me, I think Thunder, for example, is Thunder still assassination?
Yes, we are still the assassination, and we still fly the TIE Phantoms. I don't think that has changed at all. Nor do I think we are going to, because we seem to like this theme here.
Well, there you go. So the TIE Phantoms, originally we only had 1 flight of TIE Phantoms, I think, if memory serves. The addition of 2 more flights was the result of a Remob competition, along with the change of goal, if memory serves. So I mean, it's one of those really appealing prizes from doing well in the competition. Is you can change the look and feel of your squadron, and it's only those are the only windows when we really get that chance. So I mean, it makes the competition very different than the rest of the competitions we have in the TC.
Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of Thunder, I can't say that all 3 flights are just TIE Phantoms now. That being said, we are how do I put this lightly? Thanos has kind of showed up in our squadron as of late. We had a few people needing to go to the reserves. Tigra himself having to go to the reserves due to medical issues. So that's what had me take over. He'll be back. It's just I'd rather have him resting, and focusing on the resting. Yeah, and he's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go on.
I was going to say, he's going to be back, and when he does, he actually requested to be a flight member this time when he returns. So it's like, okay, well, at least we know he'll be back.
Well, that's one of the beauties of the TC and the reserve system in general. I mean, we have people who disappear or join the reserves only to reappear at a later date. I mean, I vanished from the TIE Corps in 2001, 2002, and I was gone for about 14 years before I came back, due to work, education, you name it. And I think one of these really nice things is that people do have the chance to join the reserves, take stock of what's important. You've got work, you've got family. Right. There are so many different things out there which are far more important, and you can just pick up where you left off at a later date. And I think that is something that we do very well. We're very welcoming in having people rejoin, both on Discord and in the active squadrons. And that's something I think that's one of our strengths. I mean, I mentioned it to Talons when I did his show. One of the real things that keeps me here is the fact that the EH is almost like a bit of a close-knit family in a way.
It is.
You see, you get to know people, and it's you just stick around because you have a vested interest in how the place does. So I mean, even though people may take some time off, it's always here for people to come back to.
Yeah. And speaking of the reserves, it does seem as of late a lot of the veterans are coming back.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously we had a lot of people come back or rejoin when Squadrons was just released. So I mean, we had that big surge in membership, which then it sort of tailed off, admittedly, after a while as the game
ages
was out there for. Oh yeah, I mean that's only natural to a degree, but we have seen people still making their way back, and we've had so many members over the years that even if a small proportion come back every so often, it keeps the club ticking over beautifully.
So I had to ask, because I never got a chance to talk with Tiger about this. Your time commanding Thunder, briefly as it is, or at least seems briefly compared to your whole history.
It was relatively brief, because I mean we were only about 9 months on the challenge tops, because we moved across, and then I can't access the Thai Corp website from the office, so I can't actually tell you how long I was the commander of Thunder, but it wasn't all that long in comparison to other postings or positions. What was the question?
Well, it's like how did you, since you were the one that started it, how did all the decisions in setting it up came to be?
Well, so when we moved across to the challenge is already a ship that existed way back when, right? So I mean, the challenge was a vessel that was around in the late 90s, early thousands. Wing 10 was the assigned wing. The 6 squadrons that make up the wing, they were already established. So, we had a set list of names to pick from. I would have to go back and look at the email of what the names I was given a short list of names that I could pick, simply because I think one squadron had been stood up, another one had been created, so we had a few names to pick from, and we basically did just a vote. We emailed everyone in the squadron who was active at the time. We had a vote about moving to the challenge, which was yes, let's do it. And the second question was, okay, these are the available names. Which one do we prefer most? And Thunder came out on top. So that became, that was the squadron we decided to reactivate and fill up with our membership. In terms of fighters, we actually just took the same fighters that Delta had. I mean, we were in Delta, so we just basically copy and pasted the membership and the squadron assignment from Thunder from Delta over to Thunder, and then decommissioned Delta as an active unit, and that's how Thunder was reestablished in 2020.
Yeah. So wait, so Delta was also sporting the TIE Phantoms at the time?
Yeah. So I mean, it was. I mean, literally, we just copy and pasted the squadron assignment and the fighter assignment from Delta across to Thunder when we stood Thunder up, and Delta was decommissioned. Fortunately, as we have grown as a club, we've been in a position to recommission Delta under Major Highlander, which is brilliant. It was like seeing my old unit being alive again. So yeah, well, that's how.
Speaking of old, the previous Delta, not the recommissioned one, how was commanding that?
That was good fun. I mean, like I say, when I joined, when I came back, really, Clark, or General Clark at the time, was in charge of Delta. Dempsey was around. Elwood was around. There were quite a few members who are now, they're no longer active in the Thai Corps, or they've moved into the reserves. But it was good fun. Running the squadron was always interesting. I mean, as I'm sure you're seeing, there's a wide range in terms of membership. I mean, one of the beauties of being in this club is that all you need to do to be an active member is partake in the community, and occasionally, do something like fly a mission. We don't demand that you you do tons, but you just need to, you need to partake.
Right.
So
Communication being
commander,
key.
Yeah, communication being key, but you need to do something every now and then, be it answer a trivia question, fly a legion, do something just beyond just talking,
Right.
to show that that you are an active member. And I'm sure it's the same for every single squadron commander. Getting that balance between members who they still take part and they still talk, but maybe they're a little bit busy. Should they go to the reserves? Do they stick around because they think they may have time? It's that fine line of, where are people best served by being? And it's an eternal question that the squadron commanders are always wrestling with.
Yeah,
but
I find myself in that position constantly as of late.
I mean, I was in that position a lot with Delta, but I found a lot of people partook in the trivia, and a lot of people, even if they weren't flying, they were taking part in the community, and occasionally taking part in some activity now and then. Enough to be considered active. But it was just, I enjoyed it. It was good fun, and maybe when I'm done with Commodore position, someday I'll go back to being a squadron commander, because I really enjoyed it. And everyone keeps saying that the squadron commanders are the single most important position in the club, and they really are, because each commander is looking after, how many squadrons do we have now? 15?
Yes, 15.
So every commander is looking after 1/15 of the club's membership. So it's an incredibly vital position. So
I'm also starting to see that as well in my short time starting as Thunder's commander. That being said, at this point it's like I'm just trying to make sure my pilots have the time. It's like, and if they don't, I actually urge them, take the time off to get your stuff sorted out, which is what it is currently right now. That's why we have so little in Thunder, because I wanted them to make sure they spend time with their families during the holidays, or take care of whatever they need to take care of, and hoping they come back.
I think you'll find people do.
It's like, if they don't come back, eventually there will be new pilots that will step up to the challenge. Pun intended.
Literally. I mean, it's one of the nice things about the Emperor's Hammer. People join, and we always get new blood through the club. Maybe not as much at the moment as we did when Squadrons was brand new, but there is still a steady stream of new members.
So we talked about you being in Thunder and Delta, and I was to say, you heard it here, folks. When the Vice Admiral's done, he does want to take back another commander position. Delta, be afraid.
Maybe not immediately, but one day maybe I'll go back to being a squadron commander.
Gotcha. I was saying, are you whenever your tenure as a Commodore does finish, it's like, is there a specific squadron you're thinking about going back to, or that hasn't really been even a thought yet? I'm sure.
I've not really thought about it yet, to be honest. It really depends. There's plenty of things. There's plenty of things and places to go, and who knows? I mean, I'd like to stick around as a Commodore for quite a while yet. So
sure, yeah.
I don't think I'm in any rush to move on just yet. I think when Pliff spoke to me about this position, he did say one of the things he was looking for was for Commodores to stick around for quite a while. There's been a fair degree of turnover, so having people in the role for a while is actually not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
So I'm quite keen to stick around for a bit. I really want to try. I mean, we have a Hammer website at the moment that Jeannie helped me build.
Really?
We have our own website, which we put stuff up on every so often, and we've had competitions around non-player characters. So if you look in the wiki and if you look at my profile or any other Hammer pilot profile, you'll see there's a category called People of the ISD Hammer. And we've got, any pilot in the Hammer can tag themselves with that. And we also have lots of non-player characters on that as well. So we have competition for people to, write up biographies of characters. So I think we've fleshed out a captain, a navigator. We've got like engineers. There's a bartender. One of the competitions we had was about we said we wanted to have a bar on the ship. So what's it look like? What is it? And I think Black Ranger or Solo Han, I can't remember who, one of them won it. But we had submissions which were serious. We had submissions which were incredibly entertaining. People did drawings, and then we had a competition around food and drinks for this bar. Beta Squadron came up with something called the Beta Blaster, which is basically a fishbowl. So I mean, we've one of the things at the top of my list was to kind of impart character on the ship. I mean, what makes it different from the Warrior or the Challenge, and how do you give a ship or an entity a bit more character, so that it's different. And that's kind of what we're doing with the website. One of the things we're currently doing at the moment is we are, I'm sure a Star Destroyer's got, I hate to think how many decks a Star Destroyer has. It's got to be at least 100, surely.
I actually just recently saw a video describing the insides of a Star Destroyer, so it's like, you got your work cut out for you if you describe you chin every single one.
Yeah, well, we're not going to do it not to that level, but we've basically said, okay, 4 different zones. We got like a zone in the command tower, a zone along the top, one in the middle, and one around the bottom. Flesh it out a bit. Where's the bar? Where are people's quarters? Where do we hide Lambda Squadron when we don't want people to see them? That kind of stuff. So Jeannie and I have basically got as far as we've got a profile of the ship, and now we are going to get people to sort of flesh it out. That's one of the competitions we will be launching later this month, alongside the revamped Hammer Trivia, which I'm currently waiting for Cliff to approve. Hint, hint, hint. If you're listening.
As I say, Cliff, this may be your side here.
Basically, this year, big things for the Hammer would be continuing to flesh out the character of the ship. I want to try and get more stuff on the wiki. I want to try and get all the Squadron Wikipedia sites updated. I tend to go through every so often and spruce them up, but I'd like each squadron to try and add a bit more detail. And I'm going to encourage all the pilots to add stuff to their profiles on Wiki. I mean, I think I saw a good one a couple of days ago from Hopfot. He's added tons of stuff to his profile on the Wiki. So I mean, like I say, go look at the People of the ISD Hammer category, and some of them are very impressive.
Definitely looking forward to reading that now. 100%. And I was just saying, you said it's like where on the Hammer is going to be the bar, and here we are on the Challenge thinking, yes, the bar is everywhere. There's tequila supplies. Yeah, exactly. It's like the tequila supply is literally everywhere.
I would be surprised if Civil War doesn't have a button on his command chair, which just has a bar pop up on the walkway.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. There's a button everywhere.
I'm sure.
I'm sure I'm gonna get yelled at by him. It's like, you're not supposed to be talking about the button.
You're saying that your entire ship is a floating den of what's the quote from Obi-Wan about Anchorhead?
Oh
I
yeah.
remember.
Oh,
A hive of scum and villainy.
scum and villainy. Well, it's more like drunk and luscious at this point. No. Oh, I'm definitely gonna get yelled at. That's fine. So I was gonna say, there's are there any like pilots that stand out to you on the Hammer, right off the bat, or are they all equally your favorite?
Oh, I don't have a favorite. I would be airlocked if I had a favorite. I'm sure they would all airlock me if I singled anyone out. I mean,
But especially Lambda, considering I've seen one of their send-off stories, and how, or
I mean,
to Captain Zai, poor Zai.
yeah, I know he got airlocked. There's also a bit where Genie had, I think I was bitten by Solo Han when I stole a sandwich.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we need to airlock him as well. No, I mean, I think one of the beauties of it is everyone's got their own individual character. I mean, you look. I mean, obviously, the other two ships can't see our Hammer Cantina channel, but you look around and like every pilot has pretty much built their own sort of persona. Whether it's Solo Han and his zucchinis, Black Ranger, and our constant jokes. Our constant jokes about him landing or crashing. So I mean, there's a whole host of members, and I think I wouldn't say I ever have a favorite. Everyone's got their own individual personality, and everyone does well. So from that respect, I think I think Genie has a reputation of not sleeping. I'm sure he does, but I'd like to know when, because it never seems to happen.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, every member has their own sort of persona, which is always entertaining to interact with.
I was gonna say, where was it that I asked Captain Solo? I think it was a JV officer chat where I saw him say something about tried to fix PCs with a zucchini, and he pretty much says, out of all of us, who's the actual computer technician? And then I had to ask him, it's like, so what you're telling me is you did fix a PC with a zucchini. I'm very interested to hear more. And I think he called it what was it? Yeah, he called it percussive maintenance. To which I fell out of my chair.
Yes, the JV chat is always amusing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to hide.
Yeah, so I remember somebody telling me, it's like, this is going to be where serious conversations are for the officers. And then I'm seeing this, it's like, serious, yes, quite.
Yes, very serious. Sometimes there are a few serious conversations, but one of the we always jump back to entertaining and somewhat childish conversations, which is never a bad thing.
Oh yeah, no, it always keeps the spirit.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah. So now I have to ask you, it's like, any questions that you have for either me or for EH as a whole?
So one of the things I would like to know is, well, EH wise, Rapier has his whole, we're on a journey to the even deeper into the unknown regions. I would like to know more about this. I know we've tried to flesh out a few. In RTF, we had, the raid on a planet as the start point for the fictions. I think it was also a start point for some artwork and a mission. But I'd like to try and know more about that, so that we can sort of bring it into more of the games that we do. So maybe that's one thing that sets us apart from just, say, the internet is full of just like groups who play together. What sets us apart as being different, it's the storyline and the background, and we have over 2 decades of history, so let's make use of it. So from my point of view, I want to know how we're going to sort of flesh out more of this journey into the outer rim and the unknown regions. Where are we going next? What can we use to sort of prompt a competition? So that kind of thing. I think that's going to be very exciting because I'm sure Rapier has some very good ideas on it. But I'd like to know more about what we can do to help build on that.
And for those of you watching live, Rapier is our Grand Admiral of the entire TIE Corps. So you heard him, Grand Admiral. Where are we going? What are we doing?
So I've seen the flight plan. It's interesting. I'd also, there's EH wise, I'm curious what's going to happen to the Dark Brotherhood, because that's going through a whole bunch. That's going through changes. But I think it's too rich a piece of history, and the whole Dark Jedi ethos is something that we shouldn't not embrace. So, what's going to happen there?
I was just gonna say, I know quite a few from the challenge that are actually in the Dark Brotherhood right now. One of my own flight leaders is actually in there right now, and from what I'm being told, I'm constantly being told, just wait. Wait before joining, because apparently they're still undergoing a whole
rebuilding.
Rebuilding thing.
Renovation, rejuvenation. You name it.
Restructuring. That was the word they used. Restructuring.
Yeah. The other thing I am also keen to see this year is the new website and database for the TIE Corps.
Yeah, I heard it's already in beta. A couple of people have already seen it.
Yep, I've seen a few screen grabs from Turtle. Usually when they're testing, how do things work with the combat office, and it looks really good. I think it's going to offer a heck of a lot more flexibility than the system we currently have.
Okay.
I think Cliff has. I keep asking Cliff if we can do things, and he's like, next database, copyright, trademark. Once we actually get it, I'm not sure what he's going to have to say. He won't be able to use that as as his catchphrase. But I'm looking very forward to seeing how we implement that, because from a technical side, that's going to give us a lot more ability to run competitions and pull more data out of our submissions, so that we can actually do more competition wise.
God, I would love to run more competitions, but I'm constantly being told you have to only run 2, maybe 3, depending on the competition. And here I am with a whole textbook of competitions as is. It's like I'm being held back. I swear to God, I'm being held back.
Well, I think one of the things is elevate it up. So one of the things that I think Cliff and Clark and Miles really want to try and do is avoid having lots of duplicate competitions. So, like, if every squadron has their own version of, say, the TIE Corps in battle, then we have like a Hammer one, a Challenge one, and then we have the TIE Corps one.
Right.
Okay, what's the point? Where the pilots, we've already established they don't have, people have busy lives, but don't have all that much time. Are we spreading things too thinly?
Right.
So by having fewer competitions at a higher level, say instead of having individual squadron competitions, it's TIE Corps in battle at a ship or entire TC level, you are focusing all that activity into just 2 places as opposed to 3, 4, 5. So therefore you get more bang for your buck.
Yes.
So that is basically the idea behind limiting the number of competitions that we have, or trying to avoid duplicating things at multiple levels.
Yeah, I had to throw a lot of ideas away based because of that. It's like I was noticing, it's like, this is pretty much just another copy of what's already there. It's like, let's throw this area, let's throw this away.
Yeah. Of course, don't forget, there's no harm in actually, instead of throwing it away, if it's a new idea that can be implemented at the level of the whole club, let's just do it there. I mean, you look at the competition you're doing now, the time challenge. I mean, why don't do it at a squadron level? Do it at the whole TC level, then you get people from the Hammer coming in and
Yeah,
raining on the parade.
get pilots of the Hammer absolutely destroy the competition. I think only 2 challenge pilots have actually joined the fray, and they got their work cut out for them. I've yet to actually hear anybody from the Warrior, but there's still time. They still got this whole month. It's gonna be season 2, and
Sweet.
I was actually told when I was gonna start season 2 to open up for the whole Thai Corps, because season 1 was pretty much of a test run and only isolated on the challenge. So just to like find out, it's like, is this a good competition to bring to the whole Corps?
Is it a viable idea?
Exactly. That's why season 1 was only a test run on 1 ship. Now season 2, with even more success than I was expecting, especially at the fact that a pilot has already gotten under the minute mark. That I was actually speechless.
That's impressive.
Because first season I actually put a challenge, once again pun intended, that that no one was going to get under 3 minutes. It's like, I don't see anybody getting under 3 minutes, and it'd be an absolute miracle. And then everybody was posting 2 minutes, 1 minute. It's like, all right, forget what I said.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You have to constantly reassess. So I mean, Imperial Storm has been through multiple iterations. I think I've run 3 of them now, and the spam element, which everyone commented on in the last version that we had last year, that was not there to that degree in the 2 before it, and I did not see that coming, simply because we'd had the same. We tweaked the scoring a bit, but the rules were basically the same. And if you look at the year before, there was much more focus on the single player mission, like the Batai 3 mission, and then we had Legion, we had people doing Legions, but it was like a couple of hundred per round. So it was like, okay, fine, this looks balanced, carry on. And then wham, first battle, 2,000 Legions. It's like, what the?
And for those of you wondering on the show and on the live audience, when we're referring to Legions, we're not referring to me. We're referring to our medals that we get. The Legions of Skirmish and the Legions of Combat, I believe, is the PvP one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, it's flying multiplayer missions, and I in the 2 years before it, we might have had a couple of hundred submissions over a 3-day period between the 2 ships combined who were fighting. This time around, I think in the first 24 hours, the Warrior got something like 1,000 Legions. So, okay, wow. You've blown away. I mean, they literally blew away all the records.
Right,
and this is partly right there and then, and this is where it became very, very apparent that by scoring that many Legions or that many single-player victories, you could really, really hammer the other team. No pun intended.
We're just running puns all day today, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I have to work in the Warrior somehow. But basically, because we hadn't foreseen, because the previous 2 years we had not had that level of output, it had not exposed that particular flaw in the scoring system, which we then saw last year. So we will be, we have had chat talks with the different comms. We've had talks about scoring system. There will be a tweaked competition where spam is going to be pulled and pared back. So we will still encourage people to fly, but going away and scoring 1,000 Legions and winning is not going to be something we want to see replicated this year.
Right, yeah, I remember
Star Conflict spam.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Star Conflict. Another word for it, spam conflict.
So So we're going to try and So this year, Imperial Storm will do away with the spam to as much. I mean, you can never get rid of it, but we will try to make it much less prevalent, so that people don't end up burning themselves out over a month-long competition. Same, I think, with RTF. Cliff is always he's always revisiting the rules before RTF every year. So
yeah, we had that meeting a while back before the new year where we were discussing about that, which is funny because I was at work that entire time during that entire conversation, and I was driving an Amazon van. Yeah, people every time I opened up the van to give them their package would be hearing the conversation like, "What are y'all talking about?" It's like, it's Star Wars stuff. Jedi business. Go back to your drinks.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in a huddle room in the office having this conversation right now.
Oh,
and I'm sure if I look out the window, I can see the building where the Warrior comm should be working.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he should be on the other side of the Thames from me.
So Hammer's comm spies on the Warrior's comm. Gotcha.
And vice versa. It's funny actually, because last year, Civil War was going to be in London.
Yeah.
The trip eventually got pulled, I think, because of COVID and Omicron. But we were going to hope to have all three of us meet up for a beer and plan to, I don't know what, take over.
Rule the world is the plan. It's always the plan. No, that would have been amazing. I wish. It could have still happened, but world events being as they are.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the beauties of VEH is that there's members everywhere. So I mean, I think there's a couple of people I know who are in the UK. There's quite a few. We have quite a few people over in Germany. So I mean, there's a strong European contingent, and hopefully,
and all the way in Australia as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully, when the world starts to get back to normal, people who are close together will be able to meet up for a drink.
Yes. Oh God, I would love that, and actually try to somehow make tequila real. It will require lots of paint thinner. Anyway.
It could actually be flammable.
Oh God, if it is flammable, why are we drinking it again?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Rocket fuel.
Alrighty. Well, that's pretty much all I got. Any other questions you have?
None from me. None from my side. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Well, I really do appreciate you joining the show. It's always a pleasure to have a guest here, especially my former predecessor from Thunder Squadron. I was always wanting to meet you for the longest time, and now I finally got that chance, so I really do appreciate it.
No worries, and thank you for taking up the mantle of running the podcast. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Now, if Turtle can only help me with the sound on the post videos, because that's the issue I have apparently. Yeah, I might need to get an editor for our videos, because apparently how I do it for the post video is not correct.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. Alrighty, well,
fingers crossed at least.
I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up here. Vice Admiral, thank you again so much for joining us on the show.
Been a pleasure.
All right, you take care.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up here. I'd like to thank everybody who was here during the live portion of the podcast. Again, I am so sorry that I could not respond. Running a podcast doesn't really mean I'm not reading the chat. I did see everybody there. Corey HBK, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Luna Lupa 21, hello, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Ryu, my flight leader Ryu, actually, thank you so much for running as a moderator. Always a pleasure. And I will be back with Airlock Podcast, episode 3, whenever I can get our third guest for the show, which obviously, at this point, since our first guest was Vice Admiral Silwar Nilo, Commodore of the Challenge, and our second guest, Vice Admiral Phoenix Berkana of the Hammer. Obviously, we're gonna have to go for the Commodore from the ISD2 Warrior, Mordecai himself, Mordecai Wolf. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Find out how to get the post video ready for our EH YouTube channel. It's always been a pleasure. My name's Captain LegionX of Thunder Squadron, and I look forward to see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.